Of the 194 states in the world, there's not a single state that supports a one-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, not even Iran.
Hello, I'm Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. We've been talking about the situation in Idlib, Syria, bombed day and night by Assad and Russian forces. Fields now are being burned. 8 hospitals were bombed this month. This one was bombed on May 28th. These photos were of a protest in New York City last Saturday. This sign asks, "Where is the United States? Where is the UN?" This one reads, "You can't kill people's will to live in freedom, in dignity." In New Haven, there'll be a vigil for Syria on Sunday, June 2nd. People will hold candles and signs. The hashtag is Rise for Idlib. We need the UN to take action, at the very least, to pressure neighboring countries like Lebanon and Turkey to open up their borders for refugees, to pressure Israel to open up its borders for the thousands of Syrian Palestinians who deserve to go back to their homes. We need the U.S. government the government here, which killed over 1,000 in Raqqa, Syria, to allow in thousands of Syrian refugees into this country. These are demonstrators in Chicago raising awareness about Idlib. You may notice the words Mr. Waters. That refers to the rock musician Roger Waters, who is spreading the worst lies about Syrians and the White Helmets. He actually tweeted last year that the photos of people dead by chemicals in Douma were probably murdered by the White Helmets rescue workers. He has praised the blog of a former astrologer, and that's apparently where he gets his information. Waters' comments were noticed even in Idlib. Now, portions of interviews I did in New York City at the Syria demonstration. Tariq, we're here at the demonstration. So you are originally from Syria?
Yes, sir.
Or what part?
I am from Idlib.
Idlib, oh my gosh. Idlib is a kind of big space. Where in Idlib?
Yeah, this is like my town is called Ariha, like it's very close to Idlib city, like about 14 kilometers from Idlib city. This is the northwest of Syria, near the Turkish border. So like it's,
You hear from, well, let me go back. How long have you been in the U.S.?
About 24 years.
And what kind of work do you do, or profession?
I used to be a lawyer in Syria.
Yeah. So do you hear still from people in Idlib?
Yeah, of course, every day, like we have communicated with the people in Idlib in the ground, and every day, like we get like a right image about what's going on, especially about the recent situation and operation for the Assad and Russian regime, what they're trying to do in Idlib.
And there's been some heavy bombing?
Yeah, this is a regime and Assad regime, Russian and Iranian also, using like, they get back to the barrel bomb because they stopped and do barrel bomb like for a little period, but now they get back to the barrel bomb and the missile also, and heavy weapon to attack the civilian inside, especially they target the school, medical center, and like hospital office, the civilian in town and village and everywhere.
For those who don't know, what is a barrel bomb?
The barrel bomb, like, is a big, like, look like a barrel, like big, like about is like about like 1,000 pounds. They put a lot of like explosion thing inside this barrel, and usually this is dropped off the civilian from the helicopter. Yeah, this is, and other like the warplane, Air Force, they fire the missile. But this is like especially the helicopter bomb drop the barrel over the cities, and this barrel can kill like if like drop in civilian area, can like destroy about like 3 building, 4 building, and depend like how many people inside.
Now, I saw that the hospitals, they put them underground because Assad's people bombed the hospitals. There was one, I saw a picture, I'm sure I don't know how to say it, but Haas, H-A-A-S?
Yeah, this is like the village like near Ma'arit and Noman, is south of Idlib. South of Idlib is a suburb, south of Idlib. Yeah, this is a hospital, was like underground. Try to hide themselves from the barrel bomb, but I think like some spy for Assad and Russian give them the location of this hospital, and Assad and Russian targeted this hospital in purpose. They know this is the hospital, and this is the hospital was support from civilian organization from United States from here. They give him some ad. Still like they bombing this hospital. You know?
Has it been destroyed or is it still working?
Bomb it, destroy it like about like 70%. So this hospital out of service since this bombing. You know?
Were people in your own family killed or injured in this fighting?
During the Syrian revolution, from the beginning, like I have lost about, from my family, like about 55 people. Most of them, they have the same, my last name, Ghoraibi. I lost like 55 people. One was like in hiding in family house in 2013. One barrel bomb, he killed 13 people from my relative. They have the same last name what I have. Only one boy was 17 years old, he survived. And everybody else got killed. 13 people in one barrel bomb in one family house in my town, in my hometown.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. My pleasure.
So you are Syrian. Where are you from?
I'm Syrian, born in Idlib.
In the city itself?
In the city of Idlib. And
when did you come to the United States?
I came to the United States in 1992.
And your profession was?
Believe it or not, September 11, 1992.
Really?
Yeah, what a coincidence. My profession, I'm a physician.
Why did you leave?
Because life became hell in Syria. I've been targeted because my, let's say it's my big mouth. When I see the wrongdoing, I have to tackle it and talk about it. I'm very vocal. That's why my presence was alarming to them, and they were targeting me wherever I go, wherever the last days in my country, I was sleeping every day in different house, because you don't know when they come in the middle of the night and break your door. They don't knock, they break it. Break your door and take you from your bed. So I had to move. And because my wife is American, I came to America.
And this is 1992, long before this revolution.
Absolutely, 1992.
So in 2011, what did you think when it started?
In 2011, when the revolution started, I was very happy. I had a hope that this dictatorship will fall down and people will regain their freedom and dignity, and I'll be able to go back and live in my country. Because, believe it or not, everyone thinks his country is heaven, and my country is a real heaven. But it's been under siege for the past 50 years from small sectors. A small percentage of the Syrian people, they are 7%, ruling Syria for the past 50 years. Of course, with the support of their national communities for so many reasons. I'm not going to talk about it now, but everybody knows why America, for example, and United Nations and the European Union, why they support our dictators.
So you're from Idlib, and this is one piece that's being bombed pretty heavily now. What do you hear from your family?
I know that my house has been demolished completely. I know that most of my families ran away. I have a brother who lives in Qatar, another one who lives in Netherlands, another one who lives in UAE, which is the worst for Syrian to live in UAE, United Arab Emirates.
Why so bad there?
Because they have vicious dictators like ours, and dictators support dictators, you know. So I left here and I came to America, and I believe when I arrived JFK, the gentleman who stamped my passport, he looked me in the face and he said, "Welcome home," because I didn't come with a tourist visa. I came with a migrant visa from day one. That word is still in the back of my head. In my home, I'm not welcome. But in America, I meet a gentleman in the airport. He knows that I'm coming here to stay, and he say, "Welcome home."
Have you lost members of your family killed or injured in this last?
I have lost quite a few, and the rest of them, they're scattered everywhere in the world.
Mohammed, what part of Syria are you from?
I'm from Damascus. I was a lawyer in Syria, attorney, and I'm here from 6 years. Yeah.
So you came during the revolution?
During the revolution. Before the revolution, I was arrested. I was arrested several times. Actually, the last time I arrested for 3 years in Syria. I am a human rights activist in Syria. For that, I arrested a lot. I released in 2011, and then they tried to arrest me again, and for that I far away from Syria.
I'm sure you've heard about the terrible things going on now in the prisons.
Of course. It's
How was it when you were in prison? This was before the revolution?
before the revolution, yes, before the revolution. We started from the beginning of the Assad's son coming to the power. Yes, from that time we started when the power transfer from the fathers to his son. From that time, we consist of organization for human rights. For that, we pay a price. It's normal in Syria to arrest it when you asking for human rights for the people. It's normal.
In a couple of weeks, on June 15th, there'll be a program on Syria in New Haven featuring Syrian professor Yasser Munif from Emerson College. It'll be on Saturday, June 15th at 7 p.m. We'll also consider Iran, where labor and other democratic forces are repressed but fighting back, but also where that Iranian regime is under the gun from Trump and Bolton threats of war. More about this next week.
today's news is that ICE has said it will no longer seek to deport him. It will not detain him because another branch of the government, USCIS, has accepted his application for a visa, a U visa, that is based on his having been a victim of a crime. So his application's been accepted. There are 10,000 of these visas granted every year, and he is in a queue that will probably take about 4 years. He will continue to live with that uncertainty for 4 years, but ICE has accepted that he was in fact a victim of a crime. The Hartford police have evidence of it. Far from committing a crime or wrongdoing, Sujitno was actually a victim of a crime.
And I have reflected the first two parts of Ramadan, which are time of mercy and forgiveness. It is fitting that during this third and final stage of Ramadan, salvation from hell, and living for a long period of confinement, and I'm finally free to rejoin my community.
I'm Diana Blank. I am a staff attorney at New Haven Legal Assistance and a supervising attorney of the Legal Assistance Immigrant Rights Clinic, which is a collaboration between New Haven Legal Assistance and the Yale Law School. And in that capacity, I have had the privilege of working with a team of students who have committed themselves tirelessly. I have the students actually emailed a couple of statements, and I just wanted to read them. Hannah Hussey, who's a continuing student on the team, says, after representing Mr. Sayuti through his long sojourn in sanctuary, it brings the greatest joy to know he will walk out today and again participate in the community that he rightfully calls home. It can be hard to find victories in this immigration climate, but today is certainly one of them.
A couple of weeks ago, we showed portions of Norman Finkelstein's talk about Palestine and Israel up at CCSU. He maintained in his talk that the only realistic solution that we should be calling for was the two-state solution. I challenged him on that in the Q&A.
So you say that the international consensus is for what they call the two-state solution. The problem I wonder about is that why has it been so hard for it to be put in effect? And of course, there's the hostility of the U.S. government above all. But there's also the practical problems. The fact that Gaza and the West Bank are geographically separate. The status of Palestinian inside of Israel. Water, the electrical grid, and the right to return to homes inside of Israel. So how really is this a practical solution to things? And why isn't what happened in South Africa, equal rights for all, really more practical?
Well, there are several aspects to that question. One aspect is the physical aspect, the facts on the ground, the geography, and things like that. And that aspect requires a technical knowledge, and unfortunately, many people who speak on the topic lack the technical knowledge. I would recommend the best discussion I've seen of it is in a book called Moment of Truth. It's edited by a fellow named Jamie Stern Weiner. And he has the top topographers in the world, top cartographers who design maps, debate the topic, and there seems to be reasonable grounds to believe that you could still carve out coherent, cohesive states which are viable from Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. That's a physical, technical question which I prefer not to go into because it's not my area of expertise, but the people who participate in the debate, in particular a close advisor to the Palestinians named June, he makes a convincing case that it's still possible, though probably around 260,000 or so settlers will have to return to Israel. And that's a political problem, for sure. Now the second question is, why not South Africa? Why not the South Africa solution? And one of the problems is people talk about political solutions in the absence of discussing political realities. Things that may sound reasonable and sensible in your reasoning faculty have exactly zero possibility of being realized in the real political world. There's a difference between what our reason tells us and what is politically possible. Everybody in this room knows the major challenges facing humanity now. They cannot be resolved within the framework of nation states. Climate change cannot be solved in Mexico unless it's solved everywhere else. It's a global problem. Well, the major challenge facing the United States, facing humanity, be it climate change, be it nuclear conflagration, or be it for large, but not the entire world, large parts of the world, the fact that the capitalist system has lost its steam and is proving, not least for the young people in this room, a complete and total disaster. These problems almost certainly cannot be solved at the level of a nation state. So, the reasonable conclusion or a reason tells us we should eliminate nation states and we should have one world to solve the problem of the economy, the ecology, and the dangers of a nuclear conflagration. But does anybody in this room think that the elimination of nation states is on the drawing board right now? Okay, so I think everyone will agree there's a difference between what our reason tells us and what politics tells us is possible. What is either possible now or possible in the foreseeable future. So let's turn to the question of the Israel-Palestine conflict. From pretty early on in the struggle against apartheid, there was a consensus, not complete agreement, but there was a consensus on what was called in the first incarnation of the African National Congress platform of one person, one vote. To have a unitary state, one person, one vote. That was the consensus, and it registered at many different levels in the UN General Assembly, in the International Court of Justice. That's how we're going to resolve the conflict. But the consensus on the Israel-Palestine conflict has been overwhelmingly, in all the representative bodies, it's been two states. That's the political reality. You cannot name of the 190 or so states in the world, I guess it's about 194 now, of the 194 states in the world, there's not a single state that supports a one-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, not even Iran. Iran's voting record has been the same as everybody else in the UN, supporting two states. So some of you are saying, well, what about non-state actors, as the expression is called? Well, let's look at the non-state actors. In the case of the UK, the furthest left on the political spectrum who has a reasonable chance of achieving office is, of course, Jeremy Corbyn of the Labour Party. And Mr. Corbyn has long been involved and supportive of Palestinian rights. But Corbyn has been very clear, very unequivocal, two states. He won't have any truck with anyone talking about one state. Let's take the Corbyn light in the United States. Corbyn light is Bernie Sanders. When I say light, I mean L-I-T-E, Bernie Sanders. Not as militant as Jeremy Corbyn, even though there are exaggerations about how militant Jeremy Corbyn is. He's fine for me, but he was never a Marxist. He was never belonged to that political camp. You take Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders has been surprisingly good on the Israel-Palestine conflict. He has his bad moments, which are, of course, painful, but on the whole, up to and including defending Ilhan Omar, which actually came as a surprise to me, that he would go that far out. But Bernie Sanders, it's two states. If you go look in the European Union, you look at all the left parties in Europe, every single left party in Europe, they're all on board for two states. So, where is the political support for one state?
That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller for The Struggle.